All right. Let's say that someone humiliates you in public, and they do it in a subtle way, and it just irritates you. Just gets under your skin, and and you can't stop thinking about it all day, or all day the next day, or maybe for a week or two. It just gets you, right? I mean, what is happening here? What is happening is that during that whole time that you're irritated, um, coursing through your body is a biochemical, right? Now, this biochemical is like anger and irritation, right? Um, Now, this biochemical is created by your brain, right? And your brain is just, I mean, you could say it's for justice. Um, Maybe you could say the brain just keeps playing it over and over again. You know, just, and it's less about justice, and maybe within your brain you have this created ego that is just an algorithm within your brain, and what they did clashes with that algorithm, right, with your ego. Um, but these are all thoughts that are happening in your brain. And these thoughts are creating the negative emotions that you're going through. That person may have done you wrong, but everything that has happened since that moment, it's all being created by you. All those negative emotions, those are all being created by you. These are all biochemical equations within us, right? Um, Now, you could argue that um, negative emotions, negative equations, maybe even negative algorithms, I don't know. But I don't know about that negative algorithms thing. But definitely negative equations could be beneficial in life, right? Um, like if you think about a biochemical life that is a straight line, that's like a dystopian nightmare, right? If it's a negative if it's negative equations, then you're like being tortured constantly. You've been captured, and you're just being tortured. Or there's these dystopian stories where everybody's like happy all the time, just happy, happy, happy. And one could argue that there is an appreciation. And what would appreciation be? It would just be an algorithm within your brain that creates a smooth equation within your body, I guess. But there would be an appreciation for the more positive emotions if you've gone through some negative emotions, right? Um, in fact, if you're looking at self-defense, like let's say your child is being attacked by a dog, right? You better get angry. You better go attack that dog, right? So there's a negative emotion, negative equation that one could say is a positive, right? But here's the weird thing, right? You could have you have like religious people in the world, and some of them like hurt themselves and flagellate themselves, and put themselves through a life of suffering. In fact, in our day, it's like it's almost like a life of suffering is praised, right? A life of suffering equals love, right? That's the mental algorithm that's being put at you, right? But these religious folk who do this, whether they're doing it for Christ or they're doing it for Allah or Yahweh or whoever, or they're just fasting, because it's good for your body. These people are, you could say, living in a mental symphony, right? Their equations are very negative, extremely negative, and yet they're through the mental algorithm which calculates these equations. This is their glory, right? They're able to go through all of this pain and suffering because they just switch their algorithm around in their head. Right, the parent that never sees their child, that's love right there, because they're sacrificing, right? But all of this is just all of this is just biochemicals and mental algorithms, right? I mean, one could, like, if we go back to this example of being humiliated in public in a subtle way, we could say that this state, although not necessarily a desirable state, but this state, it would be a better state for your body to be in than a state of monotony, right? Because again, that's that line thing. Monotony is biochemical line rather than a wave, right? That being in this agitated state, although it's negative, it's still there's still some life there, right? And it's like there's no life in the line. Whatever life is, that's just another mental algorithm. See how weird this gets? It gets really weird. But under this, right and wrong is simply acceptance or rejection of your chosen equations, right? Because if you are a biochemical and mental symphony, other people are going to be a part of that sound, but they're only going to be a part of that sound in that moment. You create, you have the complete power to create everything after that, right? And a denial of this would just be a denial of science. But that symphony with that the wave, the biochemical wave is created by you. And you can choose how to react to another person, the psychotic person doesn't see other people as people, that whole zero empathy thing, right? But we could say that like this idea of a mental algorithm that denies science would be a wrong, because if you go to right and wrong as we have so far defined it, deals with your biochemical equations, right? But if we want to go to right and wrong within the mind, then right and wrong would be whether or not the equation recognizes itself, right? As an equation, rather than superstition, right? And superstition, like any of it, belief in God, I mean, that's all, it's just an algorithmic immune disease, right? It's the mind attacking itself. Um, because yeah, no, it's all just biochemicals and thoughts, right? Um, but here's the weird thing, right? It's like what would reality be in this world? Um, because this is a world that's I mean, in just the same way that you cannot blame someone else for all of the bad negative emotions that you're now feeling. Um, Now, if you lose someone, right, then your body's gonna go through withdrawal, right, because your equations are used to playing with their equations. Your algorithm bonding with theirs, and so you're gonna go through this negative period of withdrawal, but eventually your equations, I mean, we're constantly transformative creatures. Um, and eventually your equations will move on. Um, so there can be a brief period of mourning that you could blame on the wrongdoer against you, you know. But for the most part, it's like once that wrongdoing happened, there's no going back. Um, and anything that happens afterwards is totally within your power, right? But what am I trying to say here? Totally within your power. It's all about, yeah. No, you're creating your own reality. I think that's what you're creating your own reality, and that's the world that we live in. It's like, none of it's real there, because there's can be so many different ways of human society and behavior and mores and ways and culture. Um, it's all just created by us, and you could say that the animals definitely. I mean, this is again about transformation, right? The animals have the ability to adapt and evolve and change, and so they themselves seem to have a limited imagination. Um, but the power of your imagination is the power to manipulate the equation, right? And if you do not have the power to manipulate the equation, then you could easily be stuck in another man's algorithm. And what would that make you? It's like you're an equation that does not have an algorithmic source from within you. Makes you just like a pet, like an animal, or a tool, or a cattle, you know? And so, I mean, only you can do you. That's you have power over you, and that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you have no power over whether or not someone loves you, right? You have no power over whether someone respects you, right? I mean, you can control another man's equations, right? But, I mean, to be loved through manipulation rather than being loved by an algorithmic source, you know, those are just two totally different things. And that's just science. But anyways, my name is Enrique Zoltano, and I am the High Priest of Atheism.